Hey, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO in Lubbock, Texas, and you can also pick us up throughout West Texas on those frequencies. If you don't pick us up on those frequencies, you can listen online at KFYO.com. And as always, I encourage you to follow me on social media, including Twitter at Chad Hasty Radio. So the Republicans are still trying to whip some votes, get people on board on the Republican side, on the Senate side of things, in order to pass a repeal and replace bill. It's something we'll talk about on the Monday edition of the program, how close the Republicans are and still how far away they are from passing any type of repeal and replace bill. Still a lot of landmines for Republicans to trek through. Democrats on the other side, they're trying to whip up supporters of theirs and voters of theirs into a frenzy to say that this is a horrible, horrible bill. And meanwhile, Democrats are still trying to find their voice and trying to find a leader of the party. Senator Bernie Sanders, who may be in some legal issues along with his wife. We'll get to that later on the show. Bernie Sanders still a very popular figure among Democratic voters, just like he was during the Democratic primary when he was robbed of that primary and it was handed over to Hillary Clinton. Reading from thehill.com, Sanders joined thousands of supporters to different rallies against the Senate health care bill. Senator Bernie Sanders drew thousands of people to his rallies this weekend, held to encourage senators to oppose the Senate GOP health care plan. On Saturday night, Sanders drew a crowd of over 1,600 in Pennsylvania, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Quote, "We will not be part of a process which takes from working families, takes from the sick, takes from the children, takes from the elderly, takes from the poor, in order to give huge tax breaks to people who don't need them," Sanders said at a rally. The Vermont senator also held a rally in Ohio, where he drew about 2,200 people and spoke out against the Senate health care plan again. He then went on and held some other rallies. Sanders was scheduled in 3 rallies in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia as he joined the tour, which is basically put on by MoveOn.org. But most of the people who showed up to see Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders still a rock star among a lot of the Democratic voters, and it seems as though that's where the Democratic Party is heading, is towards the Bernie Sanders wing of the Democratic Party. Sanders still a very popular figure. I would argue that he's would be even more popular than Hillary Clinton right now in Democratic politics. If the Democrats are looking for someone to lead their party, it looks like Bernie Sanders is attempting to do all he can to pick up that mantle and run with it. Listen, Democratic senators aren't going to get on board with Bernie Sanders. They're not going to get on, the Democratic senators aren't going to get on board with the Republicans, and no Republican is going to get on board with Bernie Sanders in this thing. Bernie Sanders is whipping up voters and trying to get people involved and trying to fire up his base and his type of voters throughout Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. 2 of those states, by the way, very important states when it comes to the presidential election. Hello, Pennsylvania. Hello, Ohio. Is Bernie Sanders thinking about another run in 2020? Probably so. Would Bernie Sanders be a formidable Democrat among Democratic primary contenders? I would think so. Bernie Sanders is still popular among young people, among young Democrats especially. He is popular among a lot of Democrats and progressives especially. And Bernie Sanders is probably a little bit more likable than someone like an Elizabeth Warren. So Bernie Sanders, yeah, he's trying to say, hey, Democratic candidates, Democratic senators, you need to be against the GOP health care plan. He knows they already will be, but Bernie Sanders, what he's really trying to do is trying to whip up voters and whip up Democratic voters and remind them that he is not going anywhere. Tune in to the Chad HT Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. Follow me on Twitter, Chad HT Radio. Have a great day.